it is.
It is now 7 o'clock. We will begin the regular meeting, August 9th, 2012, for the mayor and alderman meeting. Tonight, I will have the prayer, and the pledge will be by Alderman Walker. I mean, Alderman, I was looking at the chief. Alderman Walker. You've been. Sorry, Dennis.
That's I've been called worse.
Well, I looked at the chief and it said you. I apologize. You'll bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this group of people that take their time and their dedication to protect this city and take care of its citizens. Be with each and every one of us as we make decisions. Help us to make the very best decisions possible for our citizens. Be with the men and women who serve our country and fight for our freedoms every day. And let us not forget those freedoms that are afforded to us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Please place the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. I hope everyone had time to read over the minutes, and I need a motion to approve or to deny the minutes for the July 3rd public hearing and regular meeting.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. Department reports. Fire Department.
Mayor, Alderman, for the month of July 2012, total 114 calls consisted of 2 structure fires, 12 fire alarms, 2 vehicle fires, 11 grass fires, 6 hazardous materials calls, 29 motor vehicle accidents, 30 medical calls, 14 emergency miscellaneous calls, and 8 non-emergency miscellaneous calls. Excuse me, dry today. Average response time for the month of July 2012 was 3.2 minutes, and total water consumption for the same month was 1,600 gallons. Any questions?
Any questions? Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Chief Walker.
That's correct, and you never have to worry about trying to call me Alderman, I assure you. I ain't running for nothing but the county line when I go back to southeast Tennessee one of these days. Mayor, Alderman, thank you for your support. You have the information there on the report. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. They're pretty well self-explanatory. You'll see that there's a new addition to it. It kind of gives you the percentages of changes for the month and then also for the year to date as well. This has been an eventful month. You'll notice on that report, one thing I'll point out are the number of disturbance calls, and to be honest with you, those actually came for the most part July the 3rd, 4th, and 5th as a result of a burn ban and a fireworks ban. And I think every time somebody sneezed a little bit, we got a call, but we had a lot, a whole lot. A lot of things have happened in the last month. We planned, and along with the fire department, and I don't know if there'll be something said later, but we had a little thing called Battle of the Badges, and we had fun with it. We had a lot of banter back and forth as we usually do with fire and police, but Miss Debbie had some shirts made, and it had the 2 badges on it, fire and police, and in the center of what we were trying to get along with that, as well as getting Red Cross some blood, was the autism awareness. And it's at a house not divided. And when it comes to trying to get things done, we may argue back and forth a little bit and have fun with it, but we weren't divided. Somebody asked the other afternoon, last Saturday, after a long hot day, who won? Well, the 44 people that are getting those 44 pints of blood are the ones that actually won, not us, and that was the whole reason for it. There were 54 that actually came and tried to give blood. 44 were taken, 10 couldn't for various reasons, but there were a lot of people who couldn't because they ran out of supplies. And I think the next one we have, they're going to listen to us a little better because they didn't believe what Laverne could do. And the community stepped up, and we really appreciate that. We had a real good national night out. Tuesday night had a really good crowd. A whole lot of folks were there. A lot of city employees were there giving of their time and helping tremendously. And then Monday, a week ago, this past Monday, I had sent an email to police department employees about 2 teachers that Vicki and I had run into the Friday before at a local restaurant. And they were talking about school supplies and what they didn't have. And they both teach at Roy Waldron. And as a result, Vicki and I kind of started just us initially trying to help with some school supplies for one of the teachers that I had read to last year during Read to Succeed. And that's how that conversation got started. But one thing led to another. And it wound up being something discussed at the department heads meeting on that Monday, and then after that, other city employees got involved in it, the community got involved in it, and this morning we delivered, I would estimate probably anywhere from 800 to 1,000 pounds, if you look at it in pounds, boxes and boxes of pencils, paper, crayons, backpacks, you name it, to Roy Waldron. They hadn't had that kind of help before. And then we also had one of the local businesses that's been helping Laverne Primary for, this is the 4th year now, told them that they would also be bringing 200 more backpacks and supplies to assist them. They have a lot of guidelines and requirements on them now, and if we can help them any way at all, educate those children, then that means LPD will have good dealings with them in the future more than likely. So it was well worth it. So thank you to the community as a whole for all the support, and our brothers and sisters from the fire department. And since Assistant Chief Rob Kimbrough's not here, Assistant Chief McCormick is, LPD had a girl on our softball team and a girl this year on our tug of war team, and we are the grand champions of the softball game and the tug of war this year. Yeah.
We'll be doing those trophies here in a minute.
Any questions?
It was an awesome day today, walking in, seeing that many supplies, and watching the teachers and the principal. There was a few tears shed when they came in with all that. It was amazing, and we thank you from the bottom of our heart, all of the employees that pitched in and brought in those. It was amazing, and we appreciate y'all very much. Hey, do we have anybody from the rescue unit here tonight? On a call.
Another 1046 on the
Interstate. Okay. Codes Department.
Building permits, total of 27 for the month of July, 5 being single family, 3 commercial, 11 miscellaneous, which would be pool, fence, etc. 1 sign, 2 garages and sheds. Others, which would include additions and remodels, there was 1, 4 mobile home. Total number of permits, valuation was 1.6 million. A total of 27. The plumbing permits were 5, mechanical 5. Complaints that were received were 46 for tall grass, 8 for junk cars, 15 for trash in the yards, 14 other miscellaneous. Total number of single-family permits issued year-to-date is 27. Total number of single-family permits issued during the same time period last year was 6. Questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Parks and Recreation.
Good evening, Mayor, Aldermen. Numbers there for the month of July. Looking back, there was 11,000 vehicles, equates to about 28,500 visitors in the park, which is impressive because we don't have any leagues going on the month of July. So these are all people coming in for other than baseball and football. And not all of those were 4th of July because most of the vehicles that came into the park that evening didn't cross the vehicle counter. So there's no telling how many people we had in the park on the 4th of July, which is the first thing I need to talk about. A great evening. I know it's been a month and a half, or better part of a month ago. A lot of things have happened. We did some changes over there for the 4th of July, but moving it to the football field I think was a good idea. Bringing it up there, everybody enjoyed it, and I've heard guesstimates as few as 3,000 to as many as 8,000 people in the park that night. So again, just moving in the right direction, fostering the sense of community, and that's what we're all about. We finished up our camp with 40 kids this year. We had 6 weeks of camp over at Roy Waldron. They were gracious enough to let us use their gymnasium again, so we provided that service. Football started up, and baseball signups are ongoing right now, so those will start to pick up here. We have a big weekend this week with the Jamboree starting at 8 o'clock, go till about 10 or 11 o'clock in the evening. We got movies in the park, need a big push for that. Movies in the park next Friday at Veterans. We're showing Dr. Seuss's The Lorax. It'll be on a big 35-foot inflatable screen. It's absolutely free. We'll have inflatable games for the kids to bounce on. Football's going to open up their concession stand. Just a good free evening, and that'll be on the football field, oriented basically flip-flop from what we had for Independence Day. 2 weeks after that, Howl at the Moon, our annual 5K run, is at Veterans. That thing started out with 75 runners, and last year we had 386. So if we can get to 500 here, that'd be amazing. Old Timers Festival's 2 weeks after that. Just one thing right after the other we got going on. The grass keeps growing, but we're cutting it. We're getting these things, getting these programs going. But Old Timers Festival is September 14th through the 16th. And with all these programs that I talk about, our biggest challenge has always been marketing. How do we get the word out? When school's in session, we can send flyers to the schools. We have Channel 3, we have media resources. But here in the last month and a half, we've got the electronic billboard that we have put out there. And Kathy doesn't get a chance to speak, but she's been instrumental in getting that electronic billboard going. We put the fireworks ban up there, Jane Doe. We've had 3 leads off of the Jane Doe piece up there. Code Red, Music in the Park, National Night Out, Battle of the Badges, Movies in the Park, and now a Facebook live feed. Kathy actually has the ability from her desk to input what goes on that billboard out there. And then coming up, we've got Howl at the Moon, Old Timers Festival, the pageant, and the Parade of Lights that we'll put up there. So it's a real good tool for us to get the word out. I don't know how many vehicles travel up and down Murfreesboro Road every day. Then we've got a traditional billboard right across the street for Old Timers Festival that'll be up for the next 6 weeks. So again, moving forward, doing a lot of things in the community and just trying to make Laverne a great place to live.
I think we got a little challenge going on in the 5K already.
I believe
Between
so.
Alderman Broker and Mr. Gaston. I've been hearing some smack talking between those two.
I just want to know if they'll put that picture on the billboard.
Are you sure you want to do that?
But we've got a lot of fun already started with that, and also the beauty pageants. This will be our 2nd annual Miss Laverne pageant on September the 8th at Laverne High School. They've graciously offered to host us this year for the pageants. So that'll be an all-day pageant starting with kindergarten, ending with the seniors at night. So we're pretty excited about that.
Very good.
And we're already baiting the girls. We got big, beautiful crowns. So they're seeing the crowns and they were wanting one of those crowns. So you're right. We got a lot of activities. Any questions?
I was going to add to the 5K, but I just didn't know how many hours overtime we paid waiting for certain people to finish up last year.
I'd have to look, but we'll have a chase vehicle at the end if it gets to be too bad.
Ricky can have the little ambulance running behind them.
Thank you, Mayor. Alderman.
Thank you. Finance.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Alderman. Tonight's financial report represents our fiscal year ending June the 30th. These are preliminary numbers. Our auditors will be here for the next couple of weeks and we'll be auditing our financials and we'll prepare an annual report. I think they do their presentation in December on that. For the general fund, we anticipate the revenues to exceed expenditures by approximately $2.3 million. In the sales tax, we'll receive approximately $3.6 million, which is $229,000 better than what we budgeted, and about $166,000 better than the prior year. State Street Aid Fund revenues exceed expenses by $45,000. Stormwater revenues exceeded expenses by approximately $340,000. And in the water sewer fund, revenues exceeded expenses by approximately $503,000. On the second page represents our balances at the end of June in our various bank accounts. And on the next page represents the comparison to prior year. In the general fund revenues exceeded expenditures by approximately $2.3 million. And in the water sewer fund, revenues exceeded expenditures by approximately $2.5 million.
Any questions? Any questions? Thank you, Phyllis.
Thank you.
Library.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Aldermen. I won't go over the numbers. I know we've got a lot of reports to get through tonight, and I have a lot of events that I want to talk to you about tonight. First of all, we want to thank everybody who participated in our various summer reading programs. We had a great event this year, and we hope that you all had as much fun as we did. We're recovering from all that this month, so August is usually slow for us, so I do want to talk about what we have coming up in September for you. Story times will start the week of September 10th. Homeschool story times will be on Mondays. Once Upon a Story Time on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Those are all at 10 o'clock in the morning. Jammies and Stories on Tuesdays at 6:30. Books and Babies on Thursdays at 10. And Books and Beyond every other Saturday at 2 p.m. And that's for kids probably ages 8 to 10 or 11. That last one will start on September 29th due to other events that are happening during the month of September. Also during September, we are starting a new book group. We want to champion timeless classics that you're forced to read during high school. You maybe have to suffer through a class during college. This isn't going to be boring. We're going to pair them with modern retellings and hopefully bring some new life into them. The discussions, I'm told, will be perfect for adults looking to revisit the old tales or high school students preparing for the ACT and AP exams. So look for that to start sometime in September. We're thinking towards the latter half of the month. Saturday, September 22nd, the Saturday after the Old Timers Festival, is the date of this year's reading rally. We're bringing that back outside so we can have bounce houses again. We're looking forward to a visit from Llama Llama, and we would love to have some special guest readers. I'm looking at all of you. Anybody else who'd like to do that, please call us at the library. We'd love to have you help out at the event. September 29th, we're going to reintroduce our patrons to the library's genealogy room with our new group, Skeletons in Your Closet. There'll be practical instruction on the how-tos of beginning a family tree, using family record and pedigree charts, and where to start searching for your family's ancestors. And Paula, the library's assistant director, has been working on this. She's very interested in it. She's doing an excellent job, so I hope you all will come out and take part in that new group. Are there any questions for me?
Sounds fun. Thank you. Water treatment plant.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Aldermen. We have as our report for June, the month of June of this year comparatively of last year's. Our water production is down for the year compared to last year, which is nothing out of the ordinary. All our testings were well inside the parameters. What we're starting to look at more so is the volume that we take into the plant and the volume that totally leaves. And we got that waste down to about maybe less than 1%. I mean, it's really good with the membrane unit working well. As we can go down to the bottom there, I guess the membrane unit is the cost deferred. We reclaimed a little over 4.5 million gallons that would have went to sewer, so you can kind of calculate that into about an $8,000 savings from going to Metro. Cross-connection program, I think the invoices collected for June was at $2,000, and currently we've gotten with billing and Phyllis and all that, so everything is going to go onto the water bill itself now. So they'll be handling that. It's kind of a have to pay, or it's easier on us anyway. It's that way. But our maintenance for June was a little under $2,400. No major big items. We had some the meter calibrations and we had a small maintenances, which leaves us a little over $42,000 for the rest of our contract year. And rainfall, I guess this is June. It's not kind of gotten over it now, but The lake actually reached its summer pool on July 21st of this year, which is probably about 2 months later. But we're seeing a lot of extra organics coming into the plant that we're having to treat from the drought situation. We're defending them well. And that's about all.
Any questions? Thank you. Public Works.
Okay, Mayor and Board, good evening. In sewer, in July, we saw 125 work orders. That's down 19 to last month. Sewer department overtime was up by about 11.5 hours to 61.5. The lion's share of that was the sewer crew helping out at the New Paul pump rental situation, helping out the water guys. The water department saw 193 work orders. That's down 40 to last month. Gallons not sold, 231,000 for the month. That's 11,000 more than last. Water department overtime, 72 hours. That's up 8 to last month. Most of that in supporting main breaks at 57, and of course attending that pump situation at New Paul. In the streets area, we saw 45 chipper calls. That's down 24 to last month. We saw 455 chipper pickups. That's down over 240 pickups from last month. We had 442 workhouse program hours in the month. That's up 67 to last month. The lion's share of that was in increase is that the litter pickup is at 97. It was only at 67 last month. Move on down to street overtime, about middle of the page, we saw 31 hours in the month, but that's actually down 10 to last. You'll notice the on-call number is 16. Normally there's an hour for every day of the month, but what we did is we moved to the 2-shift model in streets, so we won't see that overtime accumulate just for having folks on call going forward. 15 of those hours, Mr. Russell worked with the PD to go down to Florida to pick up a piece of, I guess, idled, we talked about that in a staff meeting, a generator, sort of a mobile command center. And Mr. Russell helped go down there, took some public works equipment, drove back, hauled this thing back for us. So that's where 15 of those hours were. Fleet maintenance department, we saw 32 total vehicle repairs. That's down 13 from last month. Outside there were 4. That's down 6 from last month. We saw 19 oil changes. That's up 6. Tires 14. That's up 12 to last month. Batteries 3. That's up 1. And brakes 4 sets. That's up 3 sets of brakes last month. Overtime man hours in fleet maintenance was 2. That's up just a half hour to last month. IOU wins. I'll publish that tomorrow in email and talk to you about those, and you too, Bruce. And that's our report. Any questions?
Thank you. Human Resources.
Good evening, Mayor and Board of Aldermen. Want to talk with you a little bit about the human resources for the city, and end with a smart comment for a certain alderman. So put you on notice here. You have the numbers before you. One of the things that's unique to this month's report is that we started the electronic applications about the first week of July. So next month we'll have any applications electronically. But we had 35 applications, 33 come through the new format. The great news about that is that what we can now do, we can now look at data. We had, even though we only had 4 positions posted, we got 95 interest cards from folks that would like to work for the city, so they can go in and look at any area from law enforcement to HR, et cetera, and we can go in and look, and I can show Chief Walker or any department head here the number of applicants and folks that have expressed an interest. The great part about that for those that apply is that once there is a vacancy, they'll be notified electronically to that email address, and they can literally go in and take the application that they've already completed and just recertify and do that. Of those 95, I know that 10 of those were folks that have an interest in law enforcement. We had several terminations in the month of July, and that's primarily because of the summer program. They're going to show us termination, so it may look like, well, here we go again. We hire anywhere from 9, and we separate 9, and we're going to always do that. As far as claims and risk management, our claims were lower. We had no new changes in those numbers. And then as far as employee and family wellness, we are increasing our utilization of care here and some of the things to help reduce costs. We're at 59% of all covered lives as employees and dependents. That 59% of our folks have registered, and most of them have attended the Care Here Clinic or health risk assessment. And we continue to do things like wellness events. We've got one on the 21st of August here at City Hall just to promote that. We saw the numbers in June drop to 135,000 in claims. That was our best month. And then this month we had 198. We've got a couple of things that are going on that while we have insurance to cover our employees and their families when there is true illness, and we have some of that as life would have you. So it's nice to have that to support the folks. And that's pretty much all that I have. I was asked the question, Mayor, when I first started twice this week. A certain alderman has asked if I wanted to withdraw from the race, and and I'm not going to do that. So what my challenge is that we begin to work and get our own teams together and get more people to run and support us. So if they need to help hold me up, then we can do that. And by looking
I'll
at
offer to drive the ambulance.
I appreciate it. And by just looking at the dress and the attire, I can tell, since Jeff is dressed like Mayor Alderman Broker, that he's already on that team. Any questions?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. All right. As you all know, each month we like to recognize an employee that we feel has gone above and beyond, and we'd like to recognize that employee. This month, we would like to recognize a very special lady who works back in records. If you've ever been back there, she's always smiling, laughing, cutting jokes. When she comes in the back door, she's just a breath of fresh air. I think she's helped out the police department on several occasions because she is bilingual. She can speak Spanish. And she makes people feel very, very comfortable when they come in. So if Miss Emilson Joe would please come forward. And she also has a celebrity in her home. Her little daughter was our first Little Miss Laverne. So she has to live with a celebrity on a daily basis as well. The City of Laverne's Certificate of Appreciation is hereby granted to Emilson Joe for your dedication and hard work for the City of Laverne. The city hereby recognizes you as the Employee of the Month for August 2012 and thanks you for the excellent work you do for the City of Laverne. You're a pleasure, and you always bring a smile to our face, and we very much appreciate you. And I think we have some other presentations to do before we do the chief. So let's get to the trophies. Are we made? Yeah. Oh, they're not that heavy. Okay. No, that's okay. No, that's okay. These guys have waited long for this. And if you'll notice on this one, each year they add Laverne Fire Department, Laverne Fire Department. Sorry, Fire Department, y'all lose this one. It goes to the police department, so please want to come up and get their trophy to share.
That was the first time in
13 years.
But I can go back, I told them the other night, I'm 1-0 as a general manager.
Now, I'm a little confused on this one, because I thought the fire won the first.
They cheated on the first.
So this one does go to the police as well.
Fire did win.
He works both, I mean.
But what was so funny, every year we have a blast doing this. I know everybody I even had a shirt that I was intimidated to wear because they got mad at me, which said, "Real women love firefighters and others marry cops." So, so I thought, no, so I stayed neutral. I just wore my mayor's shirt that night.
My wife did. She wore hers that said real women marry police officers.
But through all of this, there is so much fun. And these guys and gals are great. They're a whole lot of fun. And thank heavens Eric Stats wasn't there. I hugged a tree this year to make sure I didn't go in the mud. So, but it's a lot of fun, and we thank each and every one of you that participated in this. It means a great deal to come out and see, because a lot of times we don't get to see these men and women in a good way. It's always something sad or something tragic. And to see that they really are caring, loving people outside of having to do the emergency jobs that they do. And it's so special. And we thank all of y'all from the bottom of our heart to include all of us in a fun time and for the hard times that y'all have to do in taking care of difficult situations. And we do appreciate y'all very much. Thank y'all. I see tears running down Nikki's face as that trophy goes.
It's just 12 months.
And I think, Chief, now you have your awards for tonight. No awards. Okay, next, I'm going to go sit down, and I'm going to turn it over. We have another very special presentation tonight, and this has to do with the Battle of the Badges, and I'm going to sit down, and I'm going to turn it over to these guys.
As Chief Walker was talking about during his report, we had a battle of the badges this year, a blood drive, this past Saturday. Mr. Jonathan here was the driving force behind this whole event for us. And I'm going to read a letter for Jonathan here. It's a little lengthy, so if I get choked up a little bit here, I'm sorry. Jonathan would like to thank everyone who came out to the blood drive this past Saturday. It was a huge success. We had 54 donors, 32 non-scheduled donors who tried to schedule online but weren't able to do so because the slots were full. We had plenty of walk-ins to keep 3 blood mobiles full. Special thanks to all the police and firemen and volunteers that came out, especially the people who came out wanting to give blood and waited in the heat, some even knowing that they may not get to give because the blood mobile ran out of supplies. This shows the wonderful spirit of the citizens Laverne have. Mrs. Patty from the Red Cross said we collected 42 pints of blood, which will help as many as 126 patients. She was very impressed by the event and all the fun everyone was having. Jonathan also auctioned off a House Not Divided shirt, which Chief was talking about. That t-shirt brought $75 and a $50 backup bid, giving a total of $125 donation for the Autism Society of Middle Tennessee. Plans are being made for another blood drive the 3rd week of next April, Autism Awareness Month as well. Hopefully Mrs. Patty will listen to Chief Walker and bring two blood mobiles, because Laverne stands strong when it comes to helping others. Thank you, Mr. Ricky, for being Jonathan's voice, but most of all, for being Jonathan's friend. Jonathan would like to thank, if I could at this time, Chief Gafford, Fire Department, Chief Walker from the Police Department, and Mayor Mosley. If y'all would, come up to the front. Jonathan has a few things that he'd like to give to each one of you. In appreciation, Mayor Mosley, Chief Walker, and Chief Gafford, Jonathan would like to present a gift to each one of you.
This is awesome. Can everybody see?
Very nice.
I love that. Very awesome. That's awesome. Thank you.
Special guy. Y'all remember, I was recognizing him 3 months ago. I was having his certificate reading it. He asked what was wrong with my arm. He was really concerned about it. He didn't know it. And I realized what he was asking. I couldn't hear him because of the crowd. I explained to him that's where they took some artery out to use for my bypasses last year. And he said, "Are you okay?" And he put his arm around me. And I have a very special picture, and so does Chief Gafford. We went over to Station 2 and had our picture made with Jonathan at Station 2. And we were standing there, and Jonathan's a special young man, let me tell you. He reached around and he got a hold of me, and he reached around and he got a hold of Chief Gafford, and we were standing there with his arms around our shoulders, got our picture together. Jonathan is an awesome young man, and I'm proud of him.
Good job. Good job. Thank you. Thank y'all so much. I'm going to set mine right back here. It gets to go on my wall. I know. And for anyone that doesn't think Lavergne's not special, think again. It's because of families like yours, Deb and Bill and Shane, that make it so special. And thank y'all so much. Okay. And I saw Dana come in. Dana, would you like to give you a quick report on the rescue squad?
I'm good, unless you go.
Okay, that's fine. I know y'all been busy, so, but I just didn't want to.
Do you have any questions?
I think we know where y'all were. Thank you, Dana. All right, let's move right into old business. We've got number 4, and by the way, for all those in the crowd, we are working to have another board, looking into having one that will be coming down from this way as well, so y'all can see and we can see too. So that is in the progress. I keep seeing everybody have to turn their neck, so we are working on that. Second reading, ordinance 2012-14, an ordinance to amend Title 7 of the Laverne Municipal Code by amending references to specific positions. We discussed this in great detail where we're having to go in, replace titles, one being the fire inspector, which we will have a brand new fire inspector come Monday. He's been hired. Mr. Dennis Blair will be joining our team. So, do I have a motion to approve or to deny?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion to approve and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Next, we'll go to our consent agenda items. Again, we discussed this at great length during the workshops. Our workshops are televised. So we've all had a great deal of time to look over these. So do I have a motion to approve or to deny our consent agenda items?
Motion to approve.
Okay, I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. We'll do a roll call. Alderman Green?
Aye.
Vice Mayor?
Aye.
Alderman Waldron?
Aye.
Alderman Roker?
Aye.
And I vote aye. All right, number 6 is a motion to approve or request bids for the interstate pump station project. All right. On these, this is Mr. Hall. You going to speak on this real quick?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for allowing me to be here, Mayor and Alderman. The City of Laverne accepted bids for the interstate pump station upgrade replacement on Tuesday. We had one bid. It was W&O Construction Company with a bid of $264,850. There's a bid tabulation attached to our letter of recommendation. Our estimate for this project was $241,700. The bid received is approximately 10% higher. However, during the design of this station, some of the construction became more complicated than our initial preliminary design would have indicated. I believe the price is reasonable and fair. W&O Construction Company is well qualified to do the work. They have done many projects with the City of Laverne in the past. And CTI recommends that the City of Laverne award to W&O in the amount of $264,850.
How are we on our budget with that, Phyllis?
I would have to look at the capital plan to see if that was covered in there, but I can't remember the exact figure for that.
Okay, I know we had the pump station in, so we may have to do some, because we gotta have that pump station fixed. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve though, or deny this bid with W&O? Motion to approve or to deny? I'll make the motion to approve.
I will second it for discussion.
Okay. Now we'll open it up for discussion.
I too would like to just know, again, where the additional funds are coming from. Hate to defer it, but at the same time,
You don't have the water sewer.
I don't have it with me.
I don't have mine. My copy in front of me. I do know the pump station was on. I just don't know how much we allotted for it. Jerry, do you have any idea how much?
I don't have my budget in front of me. I thought it was within, the bid was within what was budgeted for the pump station for the year. Yeah.
so even with the additional, it's lower than what we budgeted?
Yes, yes. I believe the budget for the year on that was $275,000 was the budget. Don't quote me exactly, that's the number that sticks in my head.
Mayor, do you want me to go grab the budget book right quick?
That would be great. If, at this point, while she's going to grab that, Bruce, can we move to the next, since we do have a motion and a second? Is Robert's rules?
We've already got a motion second on the floor that really needs to be dealt with first.
Okay.
So I mean, you could vote down the motion, and then a motion could be made to defer the item to the end of the agenda.
So can I just withdraw my motion?
Yes, you could do that as
I'll
well.
withdraw my motion on this one.
And then the alderman broker would have to withdraw his.
And then
Make a
we'll-
new motion now that, and now you can make a new motion, put it at the end of the agenda.
And I'm going to make a motion that we move number 6, motion to approve or reject bids for the interstate pump station to the end of the agenda, please.
Second.
Can I have a second? Okay.
And you'll need to vote.
Oh, now I
Aye.
vote. Alderman Wall.
Aye.
Vice Mayor.
Aye.
Alderman Wall. And I vote aye. All right, number 7. First reading, ordinance 2012-15, an ordinance to amend 2011-2012 fiscal year general fund budget.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
No.
Roll call. Alderman Broker.
Aye.
Alderman Walters.
No.
Vice Mayor.
Aye.
Alderman Green. And I vote aye. Motion carries. Number 8, First reading, ordinance 2012-16, an ordinance to amend 2011-2012 fiscal year State Street Aid Fund budget.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. We'll do a roll call. Alderman Green.
Aye.
Vice Mayor.
Aye.
Alderman Waldron.
No.
Alderman Broker.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Number 9, first reading, ordinance 2012-17, an ordinance to amend 2011-2012 fiscal year senior citizens fund budget.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a second. We'll do a roll call. Alderman Broker.
Aye.
Alderman Waldron.
Aye.
Vice Mayor.
Aye.
Alderman Green.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Number 10, first reading, ordinance 2012-18, an ordinance to amend the 2011-2012 fiscal year drug fund budget.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a second. We will do a roll call. Alderman Broker.
Aye.
Alderman Waldron.
Aye.
Vice Mayor.
Aye.
Alderman Green.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Number 11, first reading, ordinance 2012-19, an ordinance to amend 2011-2012 fiscal year library special revenue fund budget. Motion to approve or to deny.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a second. Alderman Green.
Aye.
Vice Mayor.
Aye.
Alderman Waldron.
Aye.
Alderman Broker.
Aye.
And I vote aye. First reading, ordinance 2012-20, an ordinance to amend the 2011-2012 fiscal year storm water fund budget. Motion to approve or to deny.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. We'll do a roll call. Alderman Green.
Aye.
Vice Mayor.
Aye.
Alderman Waldron.
Aye.
Alderman Broker.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Number 13. First reading, ordinance 2012-21, an ordinance to amend the 2011-2012 fiscal year Parks Capital Projects Fund budget.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. We'll do a roll call. Alderman Green.
Aye.
Vice Mayor.
Aye.
Alderman Waldron.
Aye.
Alderman Broker.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Number 14. First reading, ordinance 2012-22, an ordinance to amend the 2011-2012 fiscal year water and sewer fund budget.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
And I have a second. We'll do a roll call. Alderman Broker.
Aye.
Alderman Waldron.
No.
Vice Mayor.
Aye.
Alderman Green.
Aye.
And I vote aye. All right, number 15. Resolution 2012-09, a resolution to accept Water's Edge subdivision, Section 9, received a favorable recommendation at the July 31st, 2012 Planning Commission meeting. Everyone, this is where we've already gone in. We have no more bonds. We got the last bond was the stormwater. So everything is, it's been done out there that we can do.
Motion to approve.
Okay. I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? We'll move on. Number 16. Motion to approve a joint representation agreement with Bass, Berry & Sims, PLC regarding the water supply issues with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
And I have a second. Does anyone need any more discussion on this matter? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 17, motion to approve an amendment to the engineering design contract with Hart Freeland Roberts, Inc. for the Cheney Road Sidewalk Project.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Do we have any more discussion on this matter? We do apologize to the citizens that the timing of this project, however, this project has been sitting idle for many years. We've had grant money. We've had to go through a lot of the process with the state, and we've got the opportunity to start it now, and we don't want to wait any longer. We want to get this project done. We should have this done by November, and it's a much needed service in that area for these children. So I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Number 18, motion to close the Stone River Greenway project and for the purpose of grant funding, declare the project completed.
Motion to approve. Second.
I've got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Number 19, Resolution 2012-10, a resolution to ratify the actions of the city engineer in calling the letter of credit to finish the improvements for Pinnacle Point Phase 1, received a favorable recommendation at the July 31st, 2012 Planning Commission meeting. I need a motion to approve or to deny.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve,
Second.
and I have a second. We discussed this at great length at the meeting. Do I have any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Number 20, motion to approve the paving of the streets in Pinnacle Point Phase 1.
Motion to approve.
All right. I have a motion to approve.
Mayor,
Yes.
we need to decide exactly what we are going to approve on this item and what that's going to approve and include. I don't know if Kyle wants to speak on this, but
Do we need to get a motion? Well, we really need to hear from Kyle before we even do a motion, really, don't we?
it would be best to.
Okay. Kyle, you want to speak on that?
Yes, Mayor Borders, you should have two, I think it's two estimates in front of you. There might be three, but as far as the sidewalks, that's not what we're looking at tonight. It'll just be the paving.
Mm-hmm.
Two estimates are, one of them is for the paving of the public streets in that subdivision, which I believe the total of that is just estimated is $79,718.22. We'll need to vote to just do that.
Okay.
Or to do that, plus there's a private drive out there that needs to be completed. It still needs another layer of asphalt. And that estimate is $8,629.30. So you can do one way or the other. You can either vote just to do the public streets, or you can vote to do the public streets plus the private drive. And I think if you got any legal questions, it's probably best to ask Evan on that.
Okay, let's get a clarification. When we talk about, this is not like we're paving somebody's driveway. When you talk about a private drive.
Can we pull this up on the screen?
There's basically an area with 5 lots that is across from the detention pond that has it's not a driveway, it is actually a private drive that's about the width almost of a city street. So it just don't have curb and gutter, but it needs another layer of asphalt. That's what we're talking about. And so it will access 5 different homes.
One more page.
One more, I think, yeah. Now it's up.
No, scroll down.
Okay, right to the right of the pond. It ends, it's a cul-de-sac and comes down, and it actually ends in a cul-de-sac.
Okay. So are there any houses on there?
There's 4 houses currently on it, and there will be a 5th if it ever builds, or someone ever builds on that lot.
Okay, so there are houses.
Yeah, there are 4.
Kyle, I have a question. At the Planning Commission, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the developers are here. They had spoke of the sidewalk and this private drive, maybe taking care of the difference between the bond, the letter of credit. Again, I don't know if that offer still stands, but was that something that was offered? Because again, that would lower this.
He had made statements to that effect, but the statements also had some stipulations on it. So I don't know if this board wants to hear those stipulations, or if legally we can even look at that.
Well, if the developers want to speak, move to suspend the rules and let them tell the board for themselves. I don't know.
Okay. I'll move to suspend the rules and allow them to speak.
Second.
All those in favor of suspension of the rules?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Evening, I'm Mayor, Vice Mayor. I'm Scott Butler, the owner of Pinnacle Point. What we had offered at the Planning Commission was to make up the difference as far as the extra above the bond on the paving in the subdivision, and also to take care of the private drive, and also to take care of the sidewalks, just to ask to show, favor in approving this next section. And as far as to, I guess, to maybe to do that, if it's possible, to allow the, attorneys to do the details on that, and then see if you guys, could consider that, or if there's some way to put that in writing, just in those type of words to consider that.
And now I can speak to that as far as we cannot penalize you. I mean, y'all were at that meeting for one phase over another. So therefore, we can't bargain with you. If you do this, we'll let you do this phase. We cannot interchange the phases, whether it's us trying to hold you hostage over them or you hold us hostage. We cannot intertwine any of those phases whatsoever. If you do this on this phase, you can do this on this phase. We cannot do that.
And I don't even know if we could supersede the Planning Commission in this case.
Yeah, you really wouldn't even have jurisdiction to tell the Planning Commission to waive the subdivision regulations on it. So,
Mr. Butler, I'll say this. I think we look at everybody very fairly. There's items that everyone has to follow. I'm pretty certain if you follow those, and I believe many of them were talked of, it wouldn't be a problem for you to follow, if not all. I don't believe you'll have a problem with the next phase. But looking back at phase 1 of this, I mean, let's face it, you've left the city hanging with a balance here. And you even spoke yourself about what was right for the city. Certainly not trying to hold anyone hostage here, but at the same time, again, you said good faith. I mean, show good faith. Do the same rules, regs that we ask everyone else to do, and I'm fairly certain that you'll get the same result as anyone else who complies. And again, to hold one against the other, I just don't see how that's even the right thing to do. I understand you're needing that maybe to complete the project, but at the same time, you see the predicament we are in the city. I mean, we're talking, I think, an additional $15,000, $16,000 or more, depending on if you do the sidewalks, if we do the sidewalks, and so on. So I hope you hear our side there.
Yeah, I agree with that. As far as taking care of it where the taxpayers don't have to, rightfully I should do that. But seems like there's just items that keep coming up, like a traffic study was one. I mean, do you guys think that that's going to be something that's necessary, or how do you guys feel about that?
In my opinion, I'm only one of I believe 8 or so on that board, and this board here. It's the same stipulation we put on another developer that was not too far from where you're at. Let's face it, when I think it's 2007 when the initial design went in, The traffic, the population was not what it is even right now over there. There's been some if there has been development in Laverne, it's been on the other side of the 24, right where you're at. So I believe, again, it's something we ask everyone to do, not just. And again, I believe you all came back and said that shouldn't be a problem at all. So if it isn't a problem, and we can get that done, that's a small hurdle for this whole project to get done, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else you want to add? Okay.
Bank. Well, the bank has a say-so about this too, because when you're trying to do two things, and the bank is looking at it as one thing, and you get a loan, because I don't know if any of you having to deal with the banks during these hard times right now, so the banks are real particular. They don't have to spend money over here without, they're going to do a loan on this over here, which this affects the other job over here. So the bank's looking at it as one project, and y'all looking at it as two projects. So we're trying to do what's right, and yet we're depending on the bank to loan the money, but the bank's looking at it as one project.
Correct me if I'm wrong, though, for the next phase, you'd have to get a separate letter of credit bond for that.
Yes, that's
so
correct.
so
Yes.
while it may be one project in y'all's eyes, again, it would be in the bank's eyes, just in your argument here, there's a second project going. While it may be in a bigger scope of things, it's just one. I hear what you're saying. All I'm asking personally is that again, you honor what you said that you do. I believe if you do the same requirements we ask everyone else, you'll get positive results. Again, otherwise you're sticking taxpayers with additional monies. And if something legally can be worked out, that I'm not holding one against the other, I have no problems listening to that. But if you allow this project, we'll finish this. It's not something we certainly want to set a precedent going forward. So I hope you can understand.
I think
that.
it is actually $27,000 difference.
Well, I guess
all of it together, the sidewalks, the difference.
I think he could get a different price on the sidewalks than what we got quoted, but
I think at the planning commission he had offered to do sidewalks or get them done at a much cheaper cost. So that's how I got to the 16,000. I think that was like an 8,000 or 9,000.
Okay, thank you.
Can we defer this item another month, Kyle?
we could defer this item, but the estimate's based on the index. So every time the index changes, the price could go up or down. So in the way prices are right now, I'd say it's going to go up. If we wait.
You're right, it is.
Evan, do you see anything legal that you and the developer's attorney could kind of come to agreement on? I mean, is it not holding one against the other and do it in a manner where it's done in a couple weeks? And if that's the case, if we can save the city $16,000 or something, I'm certain we could hold a special meeting or something on that, at least where it wouldn't be a. Do you understand what I'm asking? Is that something possible?
Yes, sir, I understand. I think the way that it's been phrased or pitched, there's probably not a way to, if I understand what the developers are asking, to guarantee approval of a phase in exchange for them paying money. Now, there's nothing that would prevent them from standing up here tonight and telling the city and the taxpayers of Laverne, we're going to do what we said we'd do, and we'll make up and pay the difference from what our letter of credit was based on what the estimate to complete it is. But there's nothing the city can give them in exchange or return for that. It's simply just finish your development.
Certainly not asking that, and I think we stated that's something we cannot do. But what I'm hearing from the developer is it may be some time. The bank is there's only so much money to go around. They want to get this next phase going. Planning Commission meets again in another four weeks. Again, is there some stipulation we can put on it that it can be done in 2 months, 6 months, or will reimburse the city after monies are recouped? I'm not. Is that something that we could? Do you understand what I'm saying there? Instead of a stipulation on projects going forward, saying they do, or 6 months from now, they agree to pay the difference between the bond, the letter of credit, and what the city actually pays. Do you understand what I'm asking there? No?
I'm not sure I follow, but it'd be something, yeah.
What they're saying is they had, what I'm hearing, and let me speak for you, I'm hearing that you're saying that you may need some time. I think I heard you say at the Planning Commission that you know, you need some of those funds to maybe finish this project. There may not be funds to go around. If they're saying, is there something they can put forward tonight or with their attorney that 3 months from now, 6 months from now, they'll pay the difference? And nothing, no stipulation.
Assuming that phase 3 passes on its own merits.
On its own merits, and not even talking phase 3. Just if they're saying they need time to do it, is that something that we can speak on, or we can?
That might be possible. I would want to think through that, and
Okay.
it might be a reason. And I understand that the price index is going to fluctuate one way or the other, but it's something. I mean, and we may want to hear from the developers, but if they're serious about wanting to make up the difference, it may be worth deferring the item to see what, if anything, we can get worked out that's not a quid pro quo kind of thing.
But under no circumstances can we attach, I'll do this if you let us do phase 3. That's not gonna happen. I mean, that's just not gonna happen. We cannot, yeah.
We're not asking to do it. We're just saying we have to get this other one approved before we can commit. Not commit, we can commit to do it. But the money has to come from this other project. The loan on the other project is going to support this one. We're not asking you to do any favors or anything. Maybe we can get it approved and come back and do this one. So we can do that. Then we can say, yeah, the money's there. The bank is approved.
Yeah, I think I understand what they're saying, and I think you know, it might be appropriate to defer it tonight in terms of the decision to pay, because if we vote on it, I say we, if the board votes on it tonight, then we're moving forward with paving it without a guarantee from the developers that they're going to pay the difference. And they can't, I understand, if I'm understanding y'all correctly, you can't until you get your financing from your lender. And you don't know about that until phase 3 is. So I understand that.
That was kind of my question.
Yeah.
If there's a way we can defer, no stipulations, I totally agree with that, but defer payment of this until that point. At that point, the city would not be out any money.
The only risk to the city at this point would be an increase in the price index, but that would probably be offset if the developers come through and make up the difference. I mean, I hadn't run the numbers, Kyle, but.
The biggest risk is just going to be how many months we're going to wait and how much is the index going to change. Because if he does not come through, then the city's paying the difference. So you may be paying an additional $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. Just depends on the index.
So it is a risk.
See? It's the wishes of this board.
May I ask them another question? I mean, it is your intention at some point to pay the difference. I know you offered that, you said it tonight, if the funding. I mean, I don't want to defer this and have this thing drag on and so on. I mean, you had mentioned again at the Planning Commission that maybe the attorneys need to speak. Is it something that you, is it your intention to pay this, and if so, can the attorney speak and try to work out something that is both parties are happy, again, and the city is not out the money that shouldn't be paid by the residents of Laverne?
Yes, I mean, I want to take care of it. I want to take care of the difference. I guess the concern is, you know, waiting for, if it increases, I would go ahead and get it paved and vote on that and get that going, and then let's work out the difference.
Mayor, I think either way, whether the city votes to pave it now or waits, either way somebody's paving it, and the city's footing the bill to begin with. So either way,
we're going to do it one way or the other.
we're doing it.
If they're willing to pay later on, why can't they just come and make up the difference? Just pay it to the city later on. I mean, we'll see your intentions then, but it's going to have to get done at some point. If we wait, it could go up, it could go down. I mean, if we do it, it's going to be done. and then you'll see if they're really gonna pay it then. I mean, you're not asking for anything. I mean, because it's gonna have to be done. I mean, they're asking, I mean, I understand what they're asking, but we're gonna have to do something. And we'll see if they're saying they're gonna pay the difference, I guess we'll find out if they wanna come up here and write a check for the difference. I mean, that's the only way I can see it. I mean, that way you're not putting if we do this, you'll do that. It's just, we'll see.
And
Well, we know we've got to do it. I mean, it's got to be done.
I mean, it's pretty
No,
bad out there.
Yeah, it has to be done. And if we keep dragging it out,
I totally understand, and I agree, but my only, there's nothing on a dotted line that says, yes, we are going to do it. And I guess you're right, if they
And I mean,
want to do what is the appropriate thing.
That's what I'm saying, is since we can't say, okay, you can do this, and if we do this, you'll do that. I mean, we're gonna have to fix it sooner or later. I guess we'll see what the full intentions really are if we do it. Because like I said, if we wait and it goes up even more.
and it will.
Our bond, the bond was 74.
74.
74.
Because if I'm the developer and we put it off for 3 months and it goes up a whole lot more, I probably wouldn't come in and write you a check for it. I mean, you know, if it goes up another 15, 20 grand because we've put it off, if I'm willing to make the difference up now, but it's going to be when the bank sees it, it's done, you know.
Okay, so when we make a motion, we need to decide if it's paving of the street, and also this, what they're considering a little private section. It's where the red line ends, but there's still houses on this. It's not a driveway, so we don't want people thinking we're paving somebody's driveway.
Right.
We are not paving a driveway.
It's more like a little
It's
cul-de-sac.
Yes, that little area where the red stops down through there, where we actually have houses on it. That is an additional $8,000 to pave. And we do have residents living on that section. So when a motion is made, whether it is to approve or deny, we need to make clear what you are approving. And if you do add the sidewalks in with the city, we can't add those in? Okay, so that's not on there. So this is just the street and then the private section of the road. Or yeah, I said that right, private, not public.
Well, with it being private, if we pave it, who's going to keep it up from that point on?
Well, I think if I remember, it's got a homeowners association, and after it's done, the homeowners association takes care of it from then point out. I think that's.
Mayor and Board, in the covenants and restrictions, it states that private drive will be maintained by the owners of lots 1 through 5, but we do not. The city does not enforce covenants and restrictions, so that'll be up to them. But Mr. Waldron's correct when he's stating that at the Planning Commission they had discussed when it's complete that the homeowners or the homeowners association will be responsible for the maintenance of that drive. But you may want to ask the attorney as far as legally.
So legally,
if we pave it,
do we pave it to begin with?
That's the question I've had.
My whole problem about me is it just says it's private.
Right.
What if it was just
So,
the drive?
Yeah.
Because you say private, and everybody's going to want their driveways.
Right. That's the question in my mind.
Okay, this is what I'm gonna do, and it can either move forward or fail. But I will begin with a motion to pave only the public section of the road at this time.
Second.
Can I say something about that? Again, we don't have anything, what's going to happen from this point on with the developers, as Vice Mayor just said. You know, I think it's a disservice to the 5 or 4 residents that live there now if it is never, because there's nothing that can force them to go back and pave that section. So we talk about property values in Laverne, we talk about our residents, and I guess my point is with this, if we throw our hands up here now, and it shouldn't be our responsibility to do this. this whole subdivision shouldn't be, or phase one of this subdivision shouldn't be. But at this point in time, you know, well, I guess they have a possible litigation.
They could have recourse against the developer to not put the top coat on, but it's not the city's responsibility
And
at that point.
Okay.
The street's ours, right?
the street is
Right.
How
street.
big is the other part? Is there no way they can give it to us so that we have to maintain it? I mean, is there a way to do that? I'm just asking. I mean,
I don't know.
Maybe we
But I
look
think
if it's not
into-
private, I don't have a problem doing it.
But when they put that title private on there,
You know,
on the plat, it's not called private drive.
okay, it's not?
What's it called?
Is it named? Is it a
It's not
street?
titled on the plat. But in the minutes, it was called out as a private drive. In the covenants and restrictions, it was called out as a private drive.
It would belong to the homeowners association, just like the pond and any other common area. It would be the homeowners association that would own the private drive and any other common area in there. So it would not be an accepted city street. It would belong to the homeowners association.
I mean, and I don't want to punish them. I just don't like the fact that it keeps being said it's a private drive. Because who else is going to want it?
Mayor, if I may, the way I look at it is that all we are doing here is finishing what the developer has started. Once this gets completed, at that point, it would become the responsibility of the homeowners association. But all we are looking to do is finish the improvements to that subdivision, to that phase. And so really, to me, the issue of private versus public is not a part of this discussion. That's the way I look at it. And I think Kyle is of the same opinion.
And I just wanted you to break it down into two estimates. That way we all clear on what we was voting on. That way,
Well, let's do what we're doing. I've made a motion, number one, to do our the public end, okay? And I have a second. Then let's do that as a second piece. So we have
Okay.
two different, right now, all we're voting on is the public street that has not been completed. That is the 79,000.
And then we're going to do a motion on.
Then we'll go back
The
to
unfinished
the
part.
unfinished part, yes. Right now, we're only talking about the section that will be public streets, absolutely named public street, and the cost of that project is $79,718.
Of which we got 74,000.
And we got 74,000 from the bond.
Okay.
Okay? So that's what we're voting on right now, just that part. We have a motion and a second to do just that part. Okay, so is everybody with me on that? Okay, so we're going to do a roll call. Alderman Green.
Aye.
Vice Mayor.
Aye.
Alderman Waldron.
No.
Alderman Broker.
Aye.
And I'll vote aye. Now, we do have that section that for all purposes of minutes, documented minutes, it is known as a private section to that road. The cost of that is roughly $8,000.
Mayor,
Yes.
I would like to make a motion to defer.
Okay.
And then after I get a second, I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I'll second it.
I have a motion to defer and a second.
That was
okay?
part of the comments that the developer had made tonight and at the planning commission. It's a smaller piece, so if index goes up or down, city's not going to take that big of a hit, and it'll give him, say, a month to get with our attorney and iron something out. If not, we come back and we do it, or we not do it. But see if he does what's right for the city.
Okay. All right, so I have a motion to defer this one.
And I second
And I
it.
have a second. So we'll do a roll call on this. Alderman Green.
Aye.
Vice Mayor.
Aye.
Alderman Waldron.
Aye.
Alderman Broker.
Aye.
And I vote aye. So everybody's clear now what we've done. Okay? All right. Next, we'll move on to Resolution 2012-11, a resolution authorizing the City of Laverne to participate in the TML Risk Management Pool Safety Partners Loss Control Matching Grant Program. This is something we do every year.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now, if we'll go back,
Six.
number 6. Motion to approve or reject bids for the interstate pump station project. Okay. The bid came in at $264,850, and we found out how much we had budgeted.
We have 100,000 budgeted in this year. We had the same budgeted in last year, but
Okay.
due to continuances, we didn't use that cash in last year. So what we'd elect to do is use that 100,000 in this year, but obviously that leaves 164 and change. I would propose that we write a budget amendment to take that cash from the $500,000 line item, which is called Hurricane Creek Sewer Rehab. Plenty of cash sitting there for capital, but it's gonna take 2 readings through this board. So again, I'd propose a budget amendment. We read that the first time at the end of August, the second time at the end of September, and then 1st of October, you guys can vote on it. Hopefully we can pull the trigger on it.
Okay. So tonight, what we probably need to do is to deny this tonight.
We can go ahead and approve that, and then we can
Can
do
we-
the budget.
If you deny it, you have to rebid.
Right.
Okay, so we deny it, rebid, so what we need to do is make a motion,
You could
And-
approve it.
approve it.
The
With the
bid was
stipulation.
probably only good for so many days. Mr. Hall may want to
Okay.
speak to that, so you may not want to defer
Okay,
too
You're gonna
long.
need 2 readings to do that anyway, right?
yes, yes.
Just amendment.
So we probably need to approve it tonight.
You might want to ask
Vote
Mr.
on it anyway.
You could approve it tonight, then we would come back with a budget amendment at the next meeting
Okay.
to move
So-
those funds around to pay for the project.
Okay, so we do have the funds, we're just moving it from one project to the next. Okay. All righty. With that being said, I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. We'll do a roll call. Alderman Broker.
Aye.
Alderman Waldron.
Aye.
Vice Mayor. Alderman Green.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Thank y'all for I know this was a long meeting. We're gonna go to mayor and alderman comments. Y'all have been great. Thank y'all. We'll start with you, Alderman Green.
Okay, I don't really have anything except Tuesday night was just great. The weather finally, after it, cooled off a little bit, so. And again, I would like to say to Jeff that having the fireworks on the hill like you did was wonderful. So,
It was fun.
that's it. I don't have anything else. I have 3 children to give away if anybody wants.
Vice Mayor.
I don't have anything.
Alderman Waldron.
Just want to, Debbie and them done gone, but they done a great job. I stopped by their place the night before they done the blood drive, and they was burning the candles late that night. They done a lot of effort, and good turnout, and watch school starting. People watch the school buses. People ain't used to the kids being on the side of the road. Slow down, watch for the kids, and everybody be safe, and that's it.
Alderman Broker.
I just want to reiterate what the various activities that our Parks Director talked about. 17th, movies in the park, which should be big. Going to be on the football field. 31st is the Half Moon. I think. I thought Fred was out training. And then we have Old Timers Day. Please tell your friends and let's have some fun out there and get out there and continue just support our community.
Awesome. Thank you for everyone that attended tonight. I know we had a very long meeting. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate your support to all of our employees. Thank you. It's been a great few months, great activities, wonderful. I know battles going on, but it was so much fun. And to see everybody pulling together and to see those little teachers' faces when the police chief and the men and women of the police department walked in with those supplies. It was just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And the, yes, and the employees, I think Garland and Miss Kitty from Public Works represented Public Works. It was just amazing to see everything. That's exactly right. I believe a football league, we need to also remember the little football league out of Smyrna did a gathering for our schools. So that's just showing all the communities working together, and when you work together, what a positive outcome. And I thank each and every one. I thank you up here for everything that y'all do. You're very much appreciated, and with that being said, we'll say good night. Meeting adjourned.